It is the year 2016. The neighborhood of St. Matthews in Louisville, Kentucky has just come up with plans to redevelop the neighborhood. St. Matthews is an older neighborhood and everything looks old and worn. The neighborhood belongs mainly to middle-class families and is growing quickly. The many small shops and closely located mall have incited people to move to St. Matthews. The population has pushed the neighborhood to renovate, which will happen over the next 25 years. Here we will meet 4 interesting people who we will interview before and after the renovations. The first person we meet is Marvin Bender. He is 18 years old and a freshman at Bellarmine University. He has lived in St. Matthews for 10 years and likes it. He hopes to be a professional lacrosse player in the future.
Hello, my name is Marvin Bender, and I'm 18 years old. I attend Wagner High School, and I love it there. I have a lot of friends who go there, hang out with them on the weekends. It's pretty fun. I play lacrosse at Wagner. It's sort of my passion. It's my motivation. Hopefully, it'll take me to college along with my grades. I feel like Wagner is a place where I can shine. I'm senior captain on the lacrosse team, and hopefully the scouts will acknowledge my hard work and all the effort I put in. My GPA is pretty good, which hopefully will help me get a scholarship too. And it's pretty much what I need is a scholarship to help out my mom, because I don't think she can pay it on her own, college tuition and all. I've played lacrosse all my life. My life's been centered around it. It's been my driving force, and I've put in a lot of dedication and hard work to it. I've always been on the grind for it, and I'm gonna show the scouts what I have to bring to the table, and give them all that I have. It's gonna be a big test of willpower, and kind of nerve-wracking to be honest, but I'm sure I'll get through it. I have a fair amount of family problems. It all kind of starts with my dad. He hasn't been around too much, not since I was younger at least. He's had a bit of a problem, and I'm glad I've never had to see him with this problem, but my mom always had to deal with it, which I feel bad for her. Uh, my dad I think he still is addicted to coke. Um, he always used to just come home in a mess, and it was really disturbing to watch. Never knew what exactly was wrong with him at the time that this happened, and it's kind of scary to see. But not too long ago, he got locked up for possession of coke, and I haven't seen him since. It's a big relationship I lost there, a father figure, somebody who could have coached me. It's a shame that it had to happen like that. Hopefully, he's becoming sober while he's in jail. I think that'd be a big step forward for him. I live in a neighborhood called St. Matthews. It's a middle-class neighborhood. Not much shady activity goes on around, probably because there's a police department located in the center of it, so yeah, a lot of protection always. Uh, there's never really a dull moment in this neighborhood. I mean, it's been really cool watching this place go into the community that it is today. I mean, I've lived here ever since I was 3 years old. I don't know how my mom bought a house here, but I don't question her. I'm sure she had her ways. There's always something to do in here. Usually just hang out with friends, ride our bikes up to the local shops and restaurants. Something fun to do. Me and my mom usually go up to the shops every now and then, get some good items. And I've kind of gotten a close relationship with one of the restaurant owners, and so I'm currently employed. I'm a busboy at the restaurant that's closest to my house, which is, easy job.
Next, we will talk to Lance Burgundy Jr. He is 17 years old and a senior at Wagner High School. He has lived in St. Matthews his whole life and doesn't plan on moving in the future. He enjoys art and hopes to make a career out of it.
Yeah, I got a pretty good life in St. Matthews. Well, actually, excuse me, I live in Richlawn. Richlawn's a small neighborhood within St. Matthews, but it all works out. But it's kind of funny. My family isn't exactly what you would call rich, even though we live in Richlawn. My dad owns a store, and we do pretty well. People go there a lot because it's just, you know, the family thing to do. He inherited that store from my granddad. We call him Papa. My mom, she stays home all day and mooches off my dad. She used to work at a bank, I think. She got fired for some reason. They won't tell me. She like smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day. It's really annoying, actually. I'll never smoke. It's freaking disgusting. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, I go to Wagner. It's an okay school. It's not the best. I really don't like any of my classes except art and history. So I really want to be an artist, you see. Hoping to be big someday, like Dali or Van Gogh or something like that. That's what I really hope to aspire to, actually. Yeah, I painted these. Pretty damn proud of it. I do say so myself. 300. But my most prized possession is this Joker one right here, painted with colored pencils and Le Marquez. Yeah, I'm working on this Batman one right now. It's gonna rock this world. Yep. Well, I mean, this is my room, kind of, and this is really my domicile. I like it, you know. The rents are gone right now, so it's pretty bossin'. So, yeah, something like that. Anyway, I mean, I hope to live here one day, actually. I like it here. I like this neighborhood. I really wouldn't change much if I had the option, except for one small thing. I would ask for more diversity in this neighborhood. It's all white. There's all white people here. The last black couple was back in the 90s, and my dad said they were only here for a year, and then they moved away for some reason. So that's about the thing. You know. Moving on. So if you're wondering about all this art crap, it costs money. It costs a lot of money, actually. So to pay for that, I actually work at my dad's liquor store. Lance Burgundy's Liquor. You should go there one day. When you're of age, might I say. I don't do much there. I just kind of stack boxes and clean. Sometimes ring up customers. It's really boring. I call myself the pool boy because I do all the grunt labor. It really sucks. But I do it for my art. It can be really hard being me, you know, I'll tell you what. But I can feel it in my bones. I'm going to be big one day. I have a big mansion, big family, and kids running everywhere, skiddling everywhere. Anyway, I gotta go. I just remembered I have to write this critique for my English teacher. Some World War I guy. It's a book. Anyway, he's a cool teacher, just sometimes he assigns too much homework. Well, anyway, I gotta go.
The next person we will meet is Travis Black. He is also 17 years old and a senior at Wagner High School. He has lived in St. Matthews his whole life and has enjoyed his time here. He plans on becoming a chef in the future.
I have some really big dreams. I've been called crazy by my parents and my friends and like even random people like at Starbucks or something. It just seems like everywhere I go, people just keep on doubting me. It's just, I want to become a chef and I just get made fun of for it. I can't wait to prove them wrong someday. Just when that day comes that I make it big, I'm just going to be driving around them in my Lamborghini, just driving in donut circles and just making fun of them. It's going to be so great. But, oh, where are my manners? My name is Travis Black, and I'm 17 years old. Sometimes I like to just rant on about my future, and a lot of times people just ask me, like, what happens if becoming a famous chef doesn't work? Like, what's your backup plan? Well, that question annoys me, and I respond by saying stuff like, I don't know yet. All I know is that I just know it's going to work out. You know, people are always bugging me about that stuff. It's like at family events, people are asking me, like, what college are you going to go to? What are you going to major in, and what are you going to do? It's like, I don't know. Just let me live my life. And it's not, I got my life figured out and people are telling me that it's not. And I'm not going to fail. Just people I thought were my friends just keep doubting me. Maybe it's just this neighborhood. You know, this neighborhood has great potential. It could become huge someday. It could have big stores, fancy restaurants, and it could be great, but instead it's just small families, and it's just this town could be so cool someday. It's just not right now. Well, I guess right now it's mainly just a bunch of families and boredom. No wonder all I do is just practice my cooking skills and read a lot. There's just nothing to do around here. There's kids in this neighborhood that ask me to hang out with them, and I just tell them like I can't because they just ask me about my career in cooking, and I just think that they doubt me, and that's usually the last conversation I'll ever have with them. It's just, I know I don't have many friends, but, well, actually I kind of have zero friends. But, you know, that's what they get for not believing in me. It's like, it's their fault. It's not my fault. I can't wait till I'm just wearing my fancy clothes and just rubbing it in their face that I made it and they were wrong. It's gonna be great. So it's just someday if I don't make it, and like if I dye my hair someday, or if I grow a beard, man, all hope would be lost. I would be so done, and that would just be so sad. But that's not gonna happen. I'm just too great at cooking, and I know that it sounds crazy coming from a 17-year-old, but I know it's gonna work out. So, you know, it's a crazy time we live in, and I just can't wait to be sitting pretty soon.
Lastly, we have Kyle Green. He is 25 years old and has lived in St. Matthews for his whole life. He graduated from Yale with a major in business. He plans to take over his father's company in the future.
Currently, I'm working in my father's business as an intern. An intern in my own father's company? I know it sounds ridiculous, but my father said if I never worked for my position, I'd never understand the true value of it. Sounds good, right? Practically, it sucks. I'm so overqualified for this position, it's degrading. I mean, I got a degree from Yale, really. But there's no getting past my dad. He never let us feel as privileged as we are. Currently, I live in St. Matthews, which is a middle-class neighborhood, but it's nowhere near our socioeconomic status. I guess we live there because my dad understands his roots. He grew up middle class and built his company from the ground up. I'm sure 20 years from now I'll look back and appreciate all the hard work that my dad's making me do. But as of right now, no, I can't see it. But really, I don't even want to work in my dad's company. Really, I want to be a detective. As a kid, I remember watching all the crime movies and all the TV shows, and I read all the books. And my favorite was Sherlock Holmes, of course. Watching him deduce all these wild and crazy facts from just little details was crazy. But that's just a dream now. And a dream is all it's ever going to be. Ever since I got my business degree from Yale, I sealed my fate. But there was no real changing that either. My dad was paying for my college, so I didn't really have a choice. You know what, though? I'm actually pretty good at business. I don't enjoy it, but I'm good at it. I guess it runs in the family or something. Looking back, I guess I've always done what I've been told. In school, I always got good grades. I never caused a fuss. I only ever spoke when I was spoken to. But I mean, it's all going to be worth it one day, right? One day I'll take my father's position, and I'll have more money than I'll know what to do with. One thing I've always enjoyed, though, is watching movies. And, of course, the crime and thriller ones. My favorite movies were, of course, the mystery ones. Man, in movies, anything is possible. I mean, the protagonist always gets to follow their dream. and they always have a happy ending. And unfortunately, life doesn't always work out like that. But I guess I can live with that, you know? I mean, that's part of the thrill in living. It's the mystery of the unknown that drives us. If there was no mystery, and we all knew what was going to happen, what'd be the point? I guess if I didn't become a detective, I would have become like a director or screenwriter, you know? I think could do pretty good at it. Of course, I'd prefer mystery movies. But why am I even considering this? It's never going to happen. I'm never going to have that choice. I just need to focus on my job, focus on moving my way up, and keep working. Just like my dad wants me to. Just like society wants me to. As of course it is my duty to take over my father's business.
The old neighborhood of St. Matthews you once knew has transformed into a new city. It has greatly expanded and has become a sort of downtown area. It has a couple of skyscrapers, many major stores, and businesses. The population has grown out of control and is very crowded. It is home to low or middle class families. Let's see how our friends are doing some 25 years later. Let's check back with Marvin Bender. He pursued his dream of playing professional lacrosse. His dream came true, but a career-ending injury led to an addiction to oxycodone. He still lives in St. Matthews and enjoys its new growth.
So Marvin, things have not exactly worked out like you planned. Actually, things are not even close, not even in the ballpark. I grew up in St. Matthews, a middle-class neighborhood with small stores and businesses, many family-owned, and a popular mall nearby. People were friendly, willing to help a neighbor out, caring about each other. That is, as long as you fit the St. Matthews mold, which became a problem for my family while I was in high school. Dad became a cocaine addict, ended up in prison. Mom divorced him, became best friends with Jack Daniels, and struggled to make ends meet. I was shunned by many in the neighborhood. It was a huge relief to leave St. Matthews behind and head to college on a lacrosse scholarship and then on to the pros. My plan was to never return to the old neighborhood, the judgmental neighbors who turned their backs on my mom and me. Unfortunately, after suffering a career-ending injury, one of my few friends from the old days suggested I come back. He said he would help me find a job. My wife, Maggie, a veterinarian, thought she would like living and working in a small community and was in favor of giving it a try. I can honestly say, in 25 years, things have drastically changed. Gone were most of the family-owned businesses, and with them, the feeling of the community. St. Matthews had become a big city with skyscrapers. The citizens were lower to middle class, with lots of people living close together. Some of the nicer homes were now apartments. Everyone seemed busy and focused on themselves, which, considering my situation, was not such a bad thing. I developed an oxycodone addiction from the pain medicine I was taking while recovering from my injury. It was much easier to lose myself and find drug dealers in the big city St. Matthews had become. The job offer from my friend never happened, so Maggie worked long hours to support us. She was very unhappy with me and our new home. Maggie had not liked living in the big city when I played professional lacrosse in Denver for the Outlaws. I tried to explain to her I had no idea how much St. Matthews had changed. At this point, I was pretty sure she was planning on leaving me. My drug addiction got worse. I felt isolated and depressed. The old community was gone, and St. Matthews was just another big city with tall buildings blocking the sunlight. Somehow, my dad heard about my situation and suggested we go to rehab together. During the conversation, I saw glimpses of the dad I remembered before the drugs. Dad and I had a lot of long talks during rehab. He came out committed to living a drug-free life and rebuilding our relationship. Dad wanted us to open a lacrosse store together, but both of us were broke and the banks were not about to loan two recovering drug addicts money. I began working as a public speaker, focusing on addiction and life lessons. My job meant a lot of travel, but I really wanted to stay in town and work on repairing my marriage. My drug addiction had done a lot of harm to my marriage. Fortunately, Megan was willing to give me a second chance, but I knew I'd better get my act together quickly or she would be gone. She wanted to believe the old Marvin was still inside of me. I was really trying to make changes, but money was still tight. Each day was a struggle to make ends meet and stay ahead of the bill collectors. Things didn't change suddenly, in the blink of an eye. Dad won the lottery and we opened a lacrosse shop in St. Matthews. I was back to being the local hero. Kids were coming in the store, asking for my autograph, wanting to hang out, and finally, I found a piece of the old community in St. Matthews.
25 years later, Lance Burbity Jr. is the manager at the Cinnabon at the St. Matthews Mall. His art career failed and his father's business went down in flames. He still lives in St. Matthews and has adapted to its tremendous growth over the years.
You want to know about this place? I guess I could tell you. Not many people have the time of day for leisurely conversation with strangers, especially in this city. People have better things to do than talk to someone who sells dessert pastries. Better start before I go off on a rant. St. Matthews has been my home since I was a boy. There were times here and there when I wasn't around so much, like back in college when I was traveling the world. For the most part, things never changed. Until recently, that is. What used to be a quiet suburban area has transformed into a spiraling metropolis. People come here to start small businesses, but recently corporations have been pushing them out. I see bunches of young people coming here with their shops, cafes. They'd never get anywhere. Their dreams are crushed by corporate America. My dad would be devastated. He's not with us anymore. But to see the state of the city, it would break his heart. He started his own liquor store. It was pretty successful. At least until it burned down. Tried to put the fire out with the merchandise in a panic. He never was great with handling emergency situations. God bless him. He was always tough on the people around him, but he cared about his family and employees. That's one trait I got from him, I suppose. I guess that's why my employees sometimes consider me a dictator. I let that management power get to my head, but I try my best to show my employees that they matter. Anyway, I really feel for some of these kids. Trying to make a living off their passions, but no one really seems to care. Sounds like me 10 years ago. Look where I ended up, managing a Cinnabon. I at least try to put my heart and soul into my work. Can't be said for some people. What I really want to do is pursue my art career again. I tried for the longest time, but nothing ever came of it. Even moved out to Seattle and everything. I wanted to get as far away from home after high school and ditch this dingy, worn-out pit stain of the city. You know one thing that hasn't really changed? Schools. Wagner, that's where I used to go. Hasn't really changed much. It still looks the same. Teachers still act the same. Students still act the same that we used to act in high school. Some things just never change. I still see some of the people I knew from high school. Turns out I wasn't the only one to have stayed around long enough to watch things grow into what they have. Most people I know wanted to get out as much as I did. Which makes me wonder why some of these people stayed in the first place. I, however, have come to appreciate this city, though it wasn't always that way. However, this city is slowly going bottoms up. It might be time for me to leave soon. Things are looking up for me in my art. Got this really promising lead on a new job. The company who contacted me has acknowledged their interest in my ability and would like to hire me to work on a project. Who knows? There may be hope for me yet. That's about all I've got to say about the city itself. Got cinnamon rolls to attend to, so let's get going.
Next, we're going to check in with Travis Black. He tried to pursue his career of becoming a chef, but it didn't work out as he thought. He has become a sort of shut-in. He still lives in St. Matthews and is thinking about moving out.
My name is Travis Black. I'm 42 years old. I'm not married. I am just, I'm not married. I live in my house. I'm not married. I'm playing the field, as they say. Just being a bachelor. And it's not that I don't enjoy, like, going out and meeting people. I do it. I do it a lot. But, you know, sometimes I prefer to, you know, and I have more time to keep to myself and for hobbies and bachelor things and all that. So that's what I like to do is when I'm not out and doing all the things like that, I stay here in my home. I watch movies, TV. I make food for my roommates, my parents. I live with my parents, and I make meals for them sometimes when they're home, and they enjoy them, and I make them, so I enjoy making them. I remember growing up here in St. Matthews, in just this neighborhood, and I wanted to pursue a profession in cooking, and you know, I was going to go off to college and all that, and things just change, you know, like this neighborhood changes. It's much more populated now. It's expanding, and you know, people have these opportunities to do these things, but it feels like everyone here just isn't sure. You know, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm confident that I can go on and move away maybe someday. But it's like this place is filled with ghosts of people who are younger versions of themselves.
Lastly, we are going to check in with Kyle Green. Kyle took over his father's business and has become very wealthy. The only problem is he finds life unfulfilling. He has money and possessions, but no one or thing to spend it with. Kyle still lives in St. Matthews and plans on staying for a while.
My days have started running into each other. Ever since I took control of my father's business, all it is work, work, work. But under my leadership, his company has grown 7% each year. Too bad he's not around to enjoy it. He passed away shortly after I took control of his business. I guess he lived to work. I guess I lived to work.
Oh my God, are you okay?
I can't believe I just killed someone. I know I should feel bad about it, right? But I don't. For some reason, I feel alive. More alive than I've felt in a long time. Does that make me a bad person? You know what? I don't care if it makes me a bad person or not. I feel good. Great, actually. But how long is this going to last? Everything's different now. My life can never go back to the same way. I used to feel dead inside, but this has changed everything. I feel reborn. I'm not worried about getting caught. I've gotten rid of all the evidence. Guess watching all those crime shows came in handy. I always saw myself as the detective. But I guess my true role, my true calling is this. Of course, I still have to go to work. I can't quit suddenly. That'd be too conspicuous. Too suspicious. I have a whole company to run. I used to come here a lot as a kid. I used to come here a lot after work too. I feel the peace here. So everything's different. You know, there's no office. There's no dad. Everything's quiet. See that guy over there? He had the chance to do what he wanted, follow his dreams. Me, I never got that chance. He failed. That's why he deserves to die.
That's weird. What are you doing in my house? No. What are you...
You deserve this. See that guy walking right there? It's like I used to be. He's dead inside. Look, he's even talking to himself. It's pathetic. It's my job to right the wrong that life has done to him. Put him out of his misery. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hi, have you heard about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Yes, I don't.
Okay. You're about to meet him.